So, expectations for episode 5. What exactly are we thinking after watching episode 4? What's going to happen? Can we even say anything that's going to happen?
Mobius is still alive.
Absolutely. Yep.
Loki's still kicking.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have a lot of explaining to do about what happens when pruning happens. And then they're going to try and come up with this arbitrary way of getting back. Okay?
Yep.
B-15 and Sylvie are going to be together. B-15's also still alive.
Yep.
And they're going to be figuring out who the person in charge is.
They're probably going to be like dragging around a tied up Renslayer the entire time or something.
Yeah, something.
I
like that.
don't know how
That's
they're
exactly
going to manage being in the middle of the TVA.
Maybe.
Or how maybe they'll just leave. I don't know.
They're going to figure out who the guy is in charge, and then they're going to come up with some even more ridiculous reason on why it's even more important that the TVA exists. I don't even want to imagine who the person's going to be that's still alive. But that's my expectation for it.
You see, here's the thing. If it is just some, like, person that shows up and has, like, theoretically the exact same powers as the Timekeepers would have and the same mentality and actually believes it, there's no point in making the fake Timekeepers.
Yeah, they're going to have a different one. They're going to have a different mentality, obviously, right?
They have to. They can't be another copy of who the Timekeepers were.
They're going to be evil. Dang, I forgot to say that in the review. Whatever. So they're going to be evil. Like, the person that comes in, they're going to have some super evil reasoning. It's either that, or they're going to have, like, a super reason.
It's just going to be like, yeah, I just like killing people, and I figured the easiest way to do that is just to endlessly kill people who step outside the sacred timeline.
It could be as stupid as, oh, no, I just inherited this.
And that's even worse. That's the worst thing they could possibly do.
I know. It is an awful decision,
Okay.
but they could do that.
Do you think they're going to introduce any more Lokis?
Oh, yeah.
Just like dozens of Lokis?
Yeah, and another Mobius.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point, right?
I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping on another Mobius. I think that would be funny.
You just want Owen Wilson and Owen Wilson to talk to each other.
I want another Loki that's just Tom Hiddleston. I don't know why they can't do that. They're probably not going to, but they totally could. And, man, if they put Tom Hiddleston in there with a goatee, could save the whole show.
I mean, I guess it's a great thing that all of these variants end up looking like starkly different from the core Loki instead of what would reality be. They all look really damn similar to him because that's where the majority of the variants would be coming from, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they got to look so different. I don't know how Loki was born as an alligator in the current timeline of events that we currently have.
Unless that Loki's a shapeshifter and he just wants to be an alligator.
No. That's definitely not the answer. Yeah. Yeah, this is like...
And it also brings forth the question again of how do these variants get to exist so long and be so different without the TVA just popping in immediately, like they've shown to be due, and clean it up? Like, they're all following in the same pit that Sylvie did. Like, she existed for years without the TVA popping in and cleaning it up.
I think that's just a lie, and they only pop up and clean up, like, some things just to say that that's what they're doing.
Oh my gosh, they could, yeah. They could just be lying about that, too. Maybe the TVA just does nothing but copy paper. That's it. Yeah. That's all they do. They take a piece of paper, they copy it, they set it to the side, they take another piece of paper, they copy. That's it. Maybe that's all they do.
That's it. That's all. Yeah, you're right. And the TVA doesn't actually do anything. They're just there.
They're just there.
They're just there. They're acting like they're doing stuff, and that's it. No, that can't be it. But if it is, we called it. Now, I'm just saying.
No, but yeah, you know, what we should do is we should just sit here and predict every possible thing imaginable. So if one of them gets it right, we can say we're correct.
That seems like it's going to take too much time. You see, despite what other people believe, I need my free time, and I don't have a lot of it. So.
Fine. But we'll be spending some of that free time to be watching episode 5.
Yeah.
We can only hope. Whoo boy. Okay. This one, Maybe this one is what took the curse of the 4th episode instead. I don't know.
No. The 4th episode still was the start of us losing it.
Yeah, oh yeah, we count the start as the 4th. Yeah,
yeah,
not just, I don't know.
Yeah, the 4th episode is definitely not the worst, especially when you say Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm.
And I'd also say WandaVision, all of their climaxes are...
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just by the time it gets to the end, I'm so apathetic.
Them get progressively worse after the 4th episode.
I definitely feel the worst after the 4th episode for each.
Yes.
But then after that, it's just like, yeah, I expected it.
I mean, yeah, it's like just the worst. This episode is a nightmare, honestly.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And they just do things. And it feels like they're just doing things to do things.
Yeah, I mean, like, it starts off and we get a, like, cinematic shot of a bunch of things from the elevator all the way to where Loki is currently, and then they kind of, like, exposition dump, but in a really weird way. They basically say, we have to keep moving the other Lokis that are there.
Yeah, the other Lokis, they found Loki, and they're picking him up, and Loki's trying to ask questions. They're like, no, we're just going.
Yeah.
We're just going to survive. We got to get away from the cloud.
Yeah, which they say its name... I can't remember what
Doesn't
it's
matter,
called.
it's a death cloud.
But it's not Dormammu. I still don't know why. I mean, like, again, if they just needed Death Cloud to, you know, eat up everything at the end of the universe, then Dormammu seems like a great option. Why do we need 2 Death Clouds?
No, that Death Cloud had too much personality. We need a dumber Death Cloud. Dormammu had too much personality.
I mean, I guess that's the only thing I can really think of. It's dumb. So they walk, and they go, and then the Thanos copter's there.
Yeah, pretty much. My one big fear was that they were going to use this entire episode as, like, I don't know, eye candy. Like, look here, reference.
They did.
And they didn't do it as bad as I thought they would. I thought, like, literally every scene was just gonna have a bunch of crap in the background, but they still do it. And Thanos copter is definitely the worst. Throg is probably a second bad.
Yeah, the little jar thing that they have there. I mean, they just did a whole bunch of stuff. So basically,
It wasn't even, like, cleverly in the background either. They just panned right over it.
I don't even know what they're going for anymore. So, like, they get into, like, this thing, and they open up, and then they, like, this is where they've been sitting around. But if the way that they were interpreting this, and the guy is just, you know, going around eating everything, then you couldn't really have a home base, because eventually he'd get there.
Well, no, I mean, I guess the thing just
sits there.
I guess the thing just sits there and waits for new stuff to show up, and then it eats that, and it doesn't really bother with any of the old stuff, and it doesn't hunt. It doesn't hunt for them. I guess I don't know.
Why not? Is that why it's not Dormammu? Because Dormammu is more competent than this thing, so they just needed a less competent smoke cloud.
Yeah,
I don't understand. It didn't make any sense to me. So they get into this.
It's also, like, its whole purpose is a little weird too, because it's supposed to be like the guard dog for the end of time, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be guarding a specific place. It's guarding a specific time.
It's
but
eating
that's
everything.
but it's obviously not, because if things are hanging around for a really long time and are getting portaled up there. Not even portal at the same time either, just like at random intervals.
I'm gonna be honest. Why on earth is this what pruning does?
Yeah, I was 100% on board, as still as, like, stupid as it was, for pruning to just instantly disintegrate everything.
Yeah.
That made more sense than them just warping everything up to some random point in time far in the future just to hold it there.
Like, their pruning is so inefficient. If you prune a TVA agent, for one, they're going to be expecting to be disintegrated. And when they're not disintegrated, they're going to end up there. And if they manage to escape giant Dormammu-esque cloud, which doesn't seem that difficult.
Yeah, no, you just, like...
Run away.
No, you just slightly outwalk it in pace.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you're fine.
if you're lucky, you'll be like Loki, and you'll be like 100 meters away, and you can just walk away from it. If you're unlucky, you'll end up like Sylvie does, where she's right under the dang thing, and you'll need someone to come in with a car to get you away.
Yeah,
but it's still not unrealistic for you to get away. And if a TVA agent happens to have this happen while they have one of their, I have this written down.
Tempex?
Yes, the Tempex on them. They can just go back to the TVA. But here's the problem. They're going to go back to TVA and they're going to be like, so everything I know is a lie.
Yeah, it's a really good thing that no one's ever, like, accidentally pruned themselves. They haven't been, like, one really incompetent Jerry that just accidentally pruned themselves and then warped the back and knew all the answers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even incompetent Jerry. Like, what happens if Sylvie accidentally pruned one of them when she was fighting them?
Yeah.
Like, literally in
That's
combat.
the thing. Like, in the middle of the combat, I was wondering, why are they using the spear part of their whole thing when the other side literally is just a one-touch, one-kill sort of thing? And I thought there's no reason why Sylvie has to not use that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, if you're getting into a fight, would you take, I don't know, the stick or the shotgun? I would take the shotgun.
Yeah,
but Sylvie has both and chooses the stick every single time for no discernible reason. And the same for the TVA when they're fighting each other. Or when they're fighting Loki and Sylvie in that scene. They're just using the stick as well instead of the shotgun they also have.
Yeah, I mean...
And I don't understand why. But now that this has all happened, I know exactly why. Because they can't have a bunch of TVA agents roaming around the other side with their Tempax.
Yeah, they can't. So they, I guess they avoid that plot hole, except for they didn't. They just made it to where there wasn't an example that we could point to of a TVA agent getting pruned.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, really? That's stupid. Because,
I mean,
like,
the only one was Mobius that they pruned, but they specifically took his temp
yeah,
away.
they specifically took his temp pad away before they pruned him.
Mm-hmm.
What would they have done if Mobius decided to run away with the temp pad in his hand? Would they have pruned him? Or would they have just been, like, tackled? And then
I don't know, yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I feel like they would have said prune him. But then that would be a problem. I guess what they're relying on is that when you prune someone with the thing, they're going to come back to the TVA. And then they're going to ask the question, well, why wasn't I disintegrated? And then they're just going to kill them. Is that what they're relying on?
Prune him again.
Without the temp pad.
Yeah.
Just going to take the temp pad and...
Just like, oh man, that's crazy. Let me see your temp pad real quick. Oh.
Yeah, literally, like, is that they're implying that they do? Because that seems unreliable, because what happens if the TVA agent goes, well, the TVA has been lying to me this whole time, so I'm just going to go anywhere but the TVA.
Well, yeah, because, if any of these characters make sense, it's that the second they know something's wrong with the TVA, they flip 100% and just do whatever.
Like, I guess then they're relying on the fact that they'll go to a timeline, and that timeline will then get a variance.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll find them and they'll take care of it then. That doesn't work either, though, because the way the variance works doesn't make any sense to me, and I can't follow it.
Yeah. Yeah, just because of all that's another issue that definitely gets concreted. It was a little iffy before about how Sylvie exists at all, just because usually when variants are, like, the way that they showed how Nexus events happen is that they happen, and then the TVA shows up, they clean it up, they prune it, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way that there can be this many Lokis that are so different if that's the case. Like, every time something goes a little bit off, the TVA doesn't show up.
Yeah, actually, the only one that makes sense is the only one that gets his backstory explained, like, to any extent, is
Old Loki.
Old Loki's the only one that makes any sense, because Old Loki says, oh, I just survived, and then I just left, I noped out of there, and I never did anything, and then the moment that I tried to do something, the TVA showed up. That one made
which
sense.
is weird too, because it should be his very existence that's a variance for the timeline, even if he's off doing nothing.
Yeah,
it will affect the entire timeline as a whole. The issue is that it's, like I raised the issue before, it's not a timeline that they're protecting, like a universe. It's just a story within that universe that they're actually wanting to protect.
That's not that doesn't work.
That's the only answer, because as long as the only reason that Loki survived is because he left that story and didn't interfere with it anymore. He was still in that universe, sure, but if the TVA's goal is to make sure that the whole universe is following a certain plan in a certain order, then they should have picked him up anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work because
no, nothing works.
Nothing
works.
Here works.
But now the only way that all the information I'm being given makes sense is that the TVA doesn't actually have like some sacred timeline, which I thought was a universe. No, it's actually just a story, and it's the Marvel story so far. That's the only way that it makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's still stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gator Loki doesn't work at all in that.
Yeah, no.
Because Gator Loki can't talk. Like, I don't care if the variants can be any sort of shape and degree, but they can't actually fulfill the story that they want if Gator Loki can't talk. Like, unless you're implying that everyone in his universe is able to understand Gator.
No, that's the thing, too. If he's here, then there isn't a universe that's just all Gator.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. All of the Loki should be Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Because the second that something goes wrong within that story, within that universe, the TVA should be popping in and getting rid of it.
Yeah.
That's what their job is supposed to do.
That's
but obviously
how they were introduced.
Yeah, but obviously that's not what they're doing, because old Loki is just off doing his own thing forever, and female Loki, Sylvie, she was living for years before the TVA popped in.
Yeah.
And one of them's a crocodile. One of them's black for some reason. I don't know how that makes sense, because it should still be starting from the same point as the other Lokis.
But clearly they're not. That's the issue. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, their entire logic here is flawed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that this works without there being a multiverse. But they established that there isn't a multiverse.
Mm-hmm. Unless they do something in the end, just like, oh, there was a multiverse all along. The TVA was just closing everyone off to it. Yada yada yada. That's the only way they can do it, and even then, they just broke everything that they said before.
Yeah, I mean, like, at that point, when they do that, because that's probably inevitably what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
With the thing, the guy's not actually trying to protect the timeline. He's just trying to make sure that the timelines don't intermingle. But then, why would they grab Loki?
Yeah, why would they be grabbing other Lokis from other places? That doesn't make sense.
It's like, I don't understand. It doesn't work. But they're gonna come up with some way where they think they got it. All right.
No, you don't. I don't think they see any problem with it.
I hope to God they do.
I think, I don't know, they change writers a lot. And I'm thinking at this point they just got to, oh, well, people want to see a bunch of different Lokis. That's kind of what we promised. So we're just going to show them a lot of Lokis.
But then they should all be Tom Hiddleston.
No, there's only two that are Tom Hiddleston. Our Loki and President Loki.
Yeah, that guy. But, so, like, continuing on with the story, because it doesn't work, and they're going to try and make it work, and it's not going to do good.
I think the next scene that pops up is Sylvie and Renslayer, right? Back to the TVA.
Sylvie and Renslayer, yeah. They show up, and Renslayer is saying a lot of things.
Yeah, I cannot get a bead on Renslayer's character at all. Because she just says things, and then does everything else but that. So I guess she's just a constant liar.
Yeah, I mean, all I got from Renslayer is that she knows more than she lets on, but not everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she lies a lot.
Yeah, like at the point where Sylvie and Renslayer were talking, I believed that Renslayer and Sylvie had the exact same goal, which was to find the timekeepers or whoever was behind the timekeepers and get some answers. Of course, they're beyond that. Their goal is different, because Renslayer wants to know that so she can, I guess, continue to run the TVA or something.
Yeah.
And Sylvie wants to know that so she can destroy the TVA. Yes, very different goals, but at the same time, they should be working together. It benefits them both up until that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they just don't, and then they mention a cosmic spaceship for some reason. that I
Of
guess
MacGuffin.
that I guess doesn't exist. I don't know why they bothered mentioning it. It was just so Renslayer could save time, so the other TV agents could pop up. But then at the same time, again, why is Renslayer doing all of this?
I don't know what Renslayer's motivation is, but what I can kind of piece together is that she didn't know that they were fake, and she wants to know why. But she doesn't like Sylvie, and she doesn't want to do it with Sylvie, so she lied to Sylvie to act like she's going with them, and then, Sylvie's like, alright, well, it's time to leave, and she's like, I gotta stall, so the TVA shows up. I guess is what she's doing, but I don't know. It seems... I think it's portrayed badly. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's the issue. I think the actress did a poor job.
Yeah, I mean, she has this fake, confused act the entire time. When she's talking with Mobius, she's acting confused and the whole time, which I thought was weird. This is previous. And then when she's with Sylvie at the same time, she's just acting confused again, but maybe not, because she might know more than she's letting on. I don't know. I can't get a grasp on what her character is, what her motivations are, when she tells the truth, when she lies, what she knows, what she doesn't.
I think
she feels like an escape for the writers to be able to put any information out there that they want and to continue to have some kind of big villain behind the TVA.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess my big problem with her is I just think the actress is bad. I don't think she does anything good in this entire episode. I can't follow what the character's doing, and I don't think it's because the character and the goals that the character have are bad. I think the actress is just unable to portray them, and I think that's where the problem is.
Maybe
it's her direction.
It gets for judging an actor, it gets to a hard point because just with what's being said, I don't really understand what it is, and she's definitely not doing a good job portraying it either.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because of her or if it's because of direction or if it's just all the writing.
Somewhere around her is not working, which is weird. I think it's direction, because I don't think that a lot of the other actors in this, they're pretty big names. I don't think they need as much direction as she would, because I don't know who she is. So I think it is the direction, possibly. Maybe it is the actors. I don't know. But it doesn't come across very good. So they have this conversation. Miss Time? Is that her name? Oh, let's see.
Miss Minutes.
Yeah. Miss Minutes is there again, and she's like, oh, I'll look through all the database and all that kind of stuff. And TVA agents show up. They're like, oh, and then she's like, oh, I'm just going to run away, and so she prunes herself.
Yeah, Sylvie just prunes herself and leaves, and then she's with Loki.
Can I tell you how stupid that is? That is the dumbest fucking... That is so stupid. I can't believe that she did that. Because the only thing that she has that's telling her that pruning doesn't kill you is Renslayer.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Why on earth would she do that? That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Well, at the same time, Renslayer's never been shown to tell the truth ever, so I guess everything she's ever said and everything the TVA has ever said has been a lie. I can't think of one thing that the TVA said that's actually true.
They travel through time.
But do they? Because of all the different Lokis, it might not even be time. It might be they actually just literally travel through universes. And we just don't know.
Yeah, honestly, they could do that. Maybe.
Everything that's been portrayed about them and shown to me, it just isn't true.
I still wouldn't trust her at her word that pruning doesn't kill you. She has no evidence to say that that's true. She just prunes herself. She's like, boop, and then she just accepts that must be the truth. I mean, I guess the only way you can interpret this is that she's like, I'd rather be dead than be in a world without Loki. But I don't want to interpret it that way, and they don't seem to portray it that way.
I think you're reading into that. Thank goodness they didn't have that, because oh my gosh. I mean, Loki is already simping over her hard enough when she's gone.
Yeah.
So,
is dumb. It's so stupid. So we cut back to
Loki and the Lokis.
Loki and the Lokis, right? And so this is where we get a little bit of the backstory of some of them. Thor Loki gets none. Kid Loki is apparently the one in charge, and the reason for that is because he killed Thor in his timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
I guess he killed Kid Thor then?
I don't think... Yeah, I guess Kid Thor. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think this actor can act.
I don't know. The few scenes I've seen him, he feels really stilted.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him, like, in the light enough. He's always just off to the side.
So I bet you what it is they got a kid actor. And they're like, alright, you're going to do Kid Loki. Because they want to do Kid Loki in something else.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we're going to have you do some cameo scenes here, blah, 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 blah. You don't really need to be able to act to do these because there's only a few lines. And I guess they're not entirely wrong. And then they're going to basically take him right after this. Probably right now. Because they're probably done filming by now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, acting boot camp. Like, I have a feeling that's what they're going to do. That tends to be something that they do with kid actors from time to time. So,
yeah, I can believe it.
So I don't think he can act at this point, which I guess isn't too big of an issue.
They have Crocodile Loki, who's there. And then they have the best Loki ever, Old Loki.
Best new character.
Yeah.
And the original Norse mythology Loki, who happens to be black, which makes no sense, but that's what he seems to be. Is there. He doesn't get any backstory. All that happens is that he betrays the group immediately. And yay, we get to see...
President Loki and more Lokis, I guess. They could be not, but they all have horns.
It's implied that they're all
none
Lokis.
of them look like Loki, but the other ones don't look like... I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no indication to say if they are or not Lokis.
It's just implied that everyone that's alive here is Loki besides Mobius, who hasn't even shown up.
You know what? That's a fair point.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anyone else here who's not a Loki.
So I have to assume that all of them are Lokis until someone tells me otherwise, which is just stupid. Plus, the scene where he shows up and he starts talking and he's like, oh, you've been betrayed, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, all right, it's time for me to take over.
Yeah.
And everyone looks at him like, no. Norse mythology Loki looks at him and goes, no, I was supposed to take over. He's like, well, I have the army. And then the whole army turns on him. This is the dumbest scene ever, because if they're not all Lokis, the whole army turning on him doesn't make any sense. This guy having an army makes no sense if they are all Lokis. And if they all turn on him at this exact moment, it's like the worst possible moment at all to turn on anyone. And
No, the whole reason they wanted to do this is just so they can have a funny Loki fight scene and then get everyone else away.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Because they already stayed in that underground bunker for like maybe 3 minutes and the scene was starting to stagnate anyway.
Yeah,
so
they weren't able to show all of us cool Easter eggs, so we needed to move on.
Yeah.
So like this is genuinely what happens. They show up, nothing makes any sense. The Lokis fight, and none of the situation even works, because like if President Loki is in charge of all these people, then why do they immediately turn on him the second that he suggests that he's going to be in charge of them? I don't understand. That doesn't work. Then Alligator Loki bites his hand off the wrong way. That's not how alligators bite hands off.
Alligators don't bite hands off. They tear hands off. And that's obviously not what happened.
Yeah,
because it just stopped at his wrist.
Yeah, it's just like
And then everyone starts fighting, and it's chaos or whatever. And then Old Loki, Kid Loki, Alligator Loki, and Loki just leave.
Yeah, they just leave because Old Loki has really strong magic, which whatever, he can get that for him.
And he's allowed.
He's allowed because they at least attempted to explain it. Was there anyone else in that scene? Like, did anything else happen in that scene?
No, don't forget about Loki.
Oh yeah. So Loki, it says that his goal is to
Kill the Cloud.
Kill the Cloud and go find Sylvie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what his goal is. That's the other thing that happens here, right? Old Loki is the one that survived past his
Endgame.
death. Yeah, past Endgame. That's what he's supposed to be. None of the other Lokis get any level of explanation. I am also incredibly disappointed that the image that they've been showing for Loki this entire time, the Loki in a suit with a
Mhm.
bunch of other people around him, hasn't even been our Loki. It's like a different one.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
is-
honestly thought that we were finally going to be able to get to that.
Yeah.
And something was going to happen. Because, look, if you were to sit me down and tell me that, oh, pruning doesn't actually kill people, it sends all the people who are being pruned to a certain point in the future.
Mhm.
First of all, I would say you're stupid. Second of all, I would say, okay, well, that makes sense. I guess Loki's going to show up there and get some kind of like ragtag group of people that he's going to be able, because he just has so much charisma and he can trick them as well. And then that's going to be a big plot point. But no, it's just a side character.
Yeah, it would be nice if you got some ragtag group of people and they found their way to get back to the TVA to help Sylvie at the moment that she needed it at some situation.
Mhm.
That would have been a story. This is a hodgepodge mesh
Of scenes.
of scenes that kind of are loosely connected.
Right. And then after that, the Lokis get away. They watch a ship get completely eaten by the evil cloud. And they meet Sylvie again.
Yeah, because Mobius saves Sylvie when she prunes herself. Flash to that, she spawns underneath of the
Pretty much underneath the
Dormammu-esque cloud, and Mobius just drives up and saves her. That's it. Then they drive away, and then immediately the very next thing that we see is the Lokis meeting each other. But before that happens, we get B-15 scene, and this scene is a gem. It's truly, specially bad.
Yeah, it's another seemingly worthless scene that they put in because they don't want us to forget that Renslayer exists for a few minutes.
And that B-15's still alive.
And that B-15's still alive because she just disappeared off the face of the earth after she fell from the last.
Yeah, I don't know how she got where she got.
Honestly, nothing really gets told about Renslayer or her that we didn't already know, besides the fact that Sylvie's gonna succeed where Renslayer failed because Sylvie needs it. Well, Renslayer just wants it.
Can I say that is the dumbest line ever? But
Oh, yeah,
before we even get to that
absolutely, yeah.
line, how did B-15 end up in prison?
I guess she got knocked out and then they just dragged her in there, I guess.
When?
I don't know, off screen.
Okay, she got knocked out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she's unconscious.
Yep.
And she didn't come to until after they all went up there and dragged her down?
Yep.
So you're telling me all the TVA agents now know that the 3 time lizard people,
Timekeepers.
the timekeepers, are fake.
No,
of them.
No, I guess they just drew a curtain over him or something, or threw a white sheet over there.
You think Sylvie stopped to do that with Renslayer?
No, I think Renslayer stopped to do that.
You think Sylvie let her do that?
The only explanation is that, was it B-15?
Yeah.
Was just unconscious the entire time that was happening until Sylvie left, and then Renslayer went up, dragged her out herself, or had the other TV agents up there, but only after she went up there and threw a curtain over all of the dead timekeepers.
Yeah, so she had to drag B-15 down by herself, and it just had to be a lucky coincidence that B-15 was unconscious the entire time.
Yep.
Because if B-15 woke up and was conscious at any point during that, which they might even contradict that at some point, then she should not be captured because she wasn't with Renslayer and Sylvie at that time. So
No,
she had to have been up there.
She had
Unconscious.
to have been unconscious the entire time.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation.
Unless they want to say there was a side skit where she woke up, she tried to leave, and she was captured. But I doubt that, considering she was able to go up the elevator without anyone catching her when they were actively looking for her.
And then she's also just a bad agent still, because I thought her one thing was she's supposed to be good at what she's doing,
Yeah.
and that's why she's in charge, but no.
No, that's not an event.
That wouldn't make sense.
So they have this conversation, and they have a little bit of a back and forth about how, or what Renslayer's ideas are going to be. And then they deliver the dumbest line ever, how she's never going to be able to catch the person that's in charge of everything because you only want to. But she needs to.
Yeah, dumb line. It doesn't make any sense.
Is there a new competition where, TV shows are trying to come up with the stupidest lines they can say ever? I mean, it's, up there with Batwoman's, "It will be perfect when it fits a woman." Like, I mean, come on. That is the dumbest line I have ever heard.
It feels like they just want to go for like the coolest sounding stuff with no context at all to what that stuff is. So they just make things up and put them in there, regardless of if it makes sense or not. And that's the only explanation, because every one of these like, oh, got you things that they say, most of the time it's just crap.
Yeah, this is a dumb line. Dumb. Maybe it's because B-15's a dumb character. I don't know. So they do that scene, and then we're done with Renslayer, I think, for the rest of the episode. So then we go over to, Loki's, and they all meet each other.
Yeah, Loki and Sylvie meet again, and here's where we learn that Sylvie has a plan as well. While Loki's plan is just to kill the evil cloud, Sylvie's plan is that she's going to try and use her magic on it to manipulate his memories or something along that line. So what she did with everything else.
She's going to use her magic to magic.
And that plan is better than Loki's because...
Yeah, and then she's like, I can't believe that you thought you were just going to kill the thing. Like, he had the option to do what she was going to do?
Yeah, the weirdest thing. It's just like... All of the Lokis are special in their own way, except female Loki, where she's especially special. And while all of them have been trapped in this place forever, if she would have shown up here at any time, she probably would have been able to just do what she did. I mean, sure, later they have Loki pull the exact same power out of his ass.
Yeah, so because she couldn't do it by himself.
Help her, or whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, they could have had the scene where I have no reason to believe that she couldn't do it by herself.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what her power limit is, and the way that they set up everything here is female Loki, special.
And also,
all Loki special. Female.
She could have just done that with any Loki.
Yeah.
She could have done that with old Loki.
Yeah.
And that would have made just as much sense. That would have made more sense because he's supposed to be the really strong sorcerer one.
Like, I don't even know what the heck. All right, so they have this scene. Mobius and Loki also, reunite. They're like, yay, we're friends. And basically, immediately then, they're like, all right, well, what do we do? And they're like, well, we're going to do the little mind control thing with the big guy. And then they're like, okay, that's fine. And then Mobius is like, well, you have the tempad, right? So we can just leave. And they're like, well, no, we actually have to go fight the big guy in the void.
Okay, for Loki and Sylvie, that 100% makes sense because they just know that it's a guard dog for whatever's behind it.
But the other guys, they say, nah, I want to live here. What?
Yeah, they say that this place is their home and they want to stay, even though, honestly, this place is awful. And I have no idea why they would want to stay when they have a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I don't understand. That makes no sense.
Are they afraid that the TVA is going to come after them? Because the TVA is garbage. Old Loki is not going to have to worry about the TVA. The only thing TVA ever has going for them is that when they pop in to people, they're surprising them.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And the biggest issue with all of this is they established that they hate it here.
Yeah.
They established that. That's the only thing they've established with these characters. They hate it here. They can't do anything. They want to leave. And then they're like, nah, we're just going to sit here. That doesn't make any sense at all, but whatever. And Mobius is just like, okay, you guys want to sit there, bye Loki, bye Sylvie, bye other Lokis, and then he just leaves. That doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, they finally get to the cloud, and the two Lokis, old Loki... No, 3 Lokis, my bad. Old Loki, young Loki, and Crocodile Loki. They just say, well, good luck, guys, and they turn around and go, but of course old Loki comes back and helps out because...
Yeah.
And Loki and Sylvie decide that they want to go and fight the cloud, and they're going to do that, and Mobius just says, alright, good job, guys. Peace. And then he opens up a door and just leaves.
Just leaves. He's just like, alright, whatever. I don't know what he's going to do.
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know where he's going. He just leaves.
They act like he's going to take over the TVA somehow, but... That's the one-line thing that they said. Oh, well, when you're in charge of the TVA, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I guess that's how it's going to end. I don't know where he's going, though. I don't know if he's going to the Bahamas to ride on a jet ski. I don't know if he's going back to the TVA he just pops up behind Renslayer, bops her, and
Prunes
just
her.
just prunes her,
Now
and
you
says
get back.
and says I'm in charge now. I don't
know.
he could do anything really.
Honestly, I
It's
don't
not
even know how the
explained.
TVA.
I don't even think
hierarchy
they know what he's going to do, and that's why he didn't say it, so they can just have him pop in later if
They're
they
like,
need him.
oh, got it.
Got it. Good
Like,
job.
I don't understand. Stupid. Anyway. So they go and fight the thing, and old Loki, of course, has to die. So
He has to
he has to make the
sacrifice
giant
himself.
distraction. Kid Loki can't be found during the scene because if Kid Loki was actually here, he would also die. But they need him for future content.
And I guess they also need Crocodile Loki for future content.
Well, yeah, he's just a joke. I don't know what you want.
No, I want him to be a legitimate character. I want him to stand up on his hind legs and do the exact same things that old Loki was doing, just casting spells.
Why doesn't Crocodile Loki cast spells? Why doesn't he talk? I don't understand. Like,
I don't know.
At this point,
He's just a crocodile. I don't know what I can do about that.
he's just a crocodile wearing horns, and they just accepted him as Loki. In fact, they even make that joke in this episode. How they go, well, how do we even know he's a Loki?
I mean,
Yeah, like, they don't know. Like,
but, you know, for you Lokis, it's about the game and the game. So maybe you just like to
That's
to
what Loki's-
pretend that you're,
again.
maybe you just want us to think that you're not a Loki who's playing a Loki, when in real life you're actually a Loki playing not a Loki who's a Loki.
Yeah, like
It's
again,
what-
Owen Wilson's funny,
Yeah.
but like this
They
is-
give him all of the best lines,
Yeah.
and they give the best lines to nobody else.
Yeah,
Nobody
I mean,
else.
Tom Hiddleston gets the best, like moments on screen because he just gets to sit there and he gets to act like what the audience should be acting like at this,
Yeah.
and he does it throughout the entire series. And at some points, I'm like, but the audience shouldn't be feeling this, but we are.
Tom Hiddleston is getting paid a lot of money to look confused
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, like,
And he's doing a great job of it. He's really working that paycheck.
Yeah, like he does an amazing job, but like sometimes I know what he's acting is what the audience is it's what I'm acting. It's what I'm seeing. This is my reaction to the thing. And I'm like, but this isn't what we should be reacting like. But whatever. So they do the thing, and the Lokis, they hold hands, and through the power of Loki love,
Look,
they stop the thing, I think.
No, again, that's how this. They already set up that that's how this whole thing is going to end. Loki and Sylvie are gonna stand there. They're gonna kiss, and then that's gonna break apart the sacred timeline.
Somehow. I still don't know how. Whatever. This episode is bad. That's it. So that's the end of the episode. You thought there was more? No, I can't even tell you if they succeeded.
They're saving that for the next episode, I guess, and that's
They're-
finally when they're just gonna info dump everything onto us, and then the multiverse is born.
So,
That's-
are you ready for us to go through 5 episodes of exposition so we can get to the 6th episode of exposition?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. I mean,
I thought not Interstellar, but Interstellar is also bad. I thought freaking Inception was bad with its exposition. This is another level. It's 6 hours. They made a movie
No,
6 hours
Inception
long.
is fine because they set up the rules at the beginning and then just follow
Wait.
through with those rules.
Yeah, but
No, I agree.
yeah.
But in here, they set up rules at the beginning and then just break every single one of them. Like,
Yeah.
we can't even have that pruning kills people because
No.
reasons. No, we can't.
We can't have that. I mean, like, they established in this
Heck,
thing.
I don't even know what the TVA's mission is anymore. Like I was saying to you, is it still to protect the sacred timeline, or has this all been set up to do something completely different? I know that they want to get this set up as like a mystery, but this is the worst way to do it because you just leave the audience. A mystery is not leaving the audience in the dark the entire time.
Yeah.
And then just changing information and rules as you go.
I don't think they know how to write a mystery, as evidenced by WandaVision.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think they can do it. I don't know why. I think it's because they have a different writer every single time, and so they can't have the same consistent through line.
Yeah.
I think that's it, but I can't tell you for sure. It feels like they have a different writer every single time, too. Like, this one is really bad about it.
Mhm.
The other ones, I don't even say I can notice it that badly. WandaVision felt it, but this one was really...
I felt it in episode 2 because I thought it was just like so weird that they were actually pointing out the fact that the sacred timeline means nobody has free will.
Yeah.
I thought that they were just gonna skirt by that and not mention it, but no. So
Yeah.
that made me like just seriously question who the writers were.
Yeah, well, maybe it was one writer making fun of another writer's work.
You don't do.
I mean, they're getting better at pissing matches between each other. I mean, that's exactly what the Star Wars sequel trilogy is.
Yep.
And
It
so,
was
like,
just a big pissing match
yeah,
between
like-
directors. Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, maybe they think that makes good writing over at Disney. I don't know, but it doesn't. It's usually just a clusterfuck. Like, I don't know. This episode is so stupid.
Yeah.
And I can nitpick this for several hours
Like-
about bad things that
Like
happen.
one of the biggest bad things I think is there's no reason why pruning, because of what the TVA is doing, should be sending people up there. They say that because like you can't just completely destroy matter, which
I wrote on my paper, check your physics, you're wrong.
Which, okay, even if we give them the fact that, sure, that can be true, the way that they're doing it is completely wrong. They're setting it up against this big cloud that they just expect to kill them, when honestly you could dump everything into a sun or some far-off part of the universe to float around in space forever, or a black hole,
Yeah.
or an infinite pit of dead things.
Or Dormammu.
Or Dormammu.
Yeah, it's way more effective.
You just dump everything there, and everything's dead. You don't have to worry about anything coming back. You get exactly what you want. You don't have a one-way ticket to the end of the universe for reasons.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's
I don't understand why they did this. I know, let me rephrase. I know why they did it, because they want to get their story going, and they want to have another, oh my gosh, that's shocking moment. But they're doing everything in the wrong way, and they just raise a million questions about how things should be going, and they just never answer. They ignore it. They just keep going because they just want more cool stuff.
Yeah, I like I said, this show I could talk for hours just nitpicking it. This specific episode on bad things that it does, but I don't want to, because this episode I don't care anymore. I don't. Don't. You know, at least after episode 4, I still cared enough to want to watch the next episode. I don't anymore. Just don't.
But we will.
Yep, I'll be there.
Gosh.
I'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.